Attention bowlers, we're going to get started. Welcome back to Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. This is ACST Class D North Round 18. Greg Vellante versus Anthony Leonardi. The match format is 5 strings with 14 points on offer. 2 points per string, 4 for total pinfall. If there's a tie, the points are evenly split. I'm Steve Kelly on the call for the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, brought to you by 3 Ball Spare Conglomerate. It's great to have you along with us as always. This match played on Friday, May 2nd, 2025. And here's Greg Vellante. And he's on the headpin. And he'll drop 8. He'll drop 9. To open things up here in Haverhill. With the 2-pin on the plate on lane 6. Our away bowler. In the red. Just gets by. Greg Vellante will take a 9-box to open up. So this match, again, it's Friday, May 2nd, 2025 at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I'd like to highlight a few things. First, this broadcast should have subtitles and live captioning enabled, so if you enjoy this feature, please feel free to enable it in the controls below. If you're watching this broadcast on YouTube, the transcript feature will also likely be available. I'll describe the play-by-play action to the best of my ability. I want you to keep an eye on the unofficial scoreboard on your screen. It's here for the benefit of the broadcast. The bowlers maintain the official record separately. That's Greg Vellante. Another headpin shot, another 9-drop, a second chance, this time on the 3-pin. And again, he misses to the right. And again, as I'd always like to highlight, the score you see on the stream is unofficial. The bowlers maintain the official book record separately from the stream. That is 18 after 2 for Greg Vellante. 2 9-boxes in a row. Every once in a while, I'm going to pause to verify scores if there is the event that things get out of sync. So, of course, I appreciate your patience if and when that happens. If you're watching this broadcast later on YouTube, after this is live, there may be times where I may include notes in the description if I catch errors in post-production. So be on the lookout for that if in the event that happens. And that's Greg Vellante. Half Worcester plus a friend, 3-drop. Next ball's on the pocket. Light hit. Leaves the 3 and the 6 and the 10. Mr. Vellante for a 10-box. That's a 10. That's 28 after 3. For Mr. V, Greg. Greg in the red. Greg Vellante. So Greg Vellante, he has a season record of 129 and 109 with 17 matches played. That's a 1.18 win-loss ratio. And here's Greg Vellante to the right of the headpin. That's a 4-drop. That's the 1, the 2, the 4, the 5, the 8, and the 9 on lane 6. Vellante will take only the headpin on the second ball. He's got the two diamonds and the 9-pin for a 10-box. He'll make that a 7. That's 35 after 4 for Greg Vellante. Greg Vellante with a home record of 64 and 62 and a away record of 65 and 47. So that's a 1.03 versus a 1.38 ratio. Season average, 100.19 for Mr. Greg Vellante. He's off to the right. Drops 7. Missed the head pin. 1-pin, 2-pin, 10-pin. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Here comes Greg Vellante on the 1, 2, 10. Wanted to spin it right, but couldn't quite get the spin to take off enough. He'll take the 2 and leave the 1 and the 10. He'll be markless in this first half. Greg Vellante will take an 8-box, and that should be 43. 43 it shall be for Greg Vellante. Let's check out the scoreboard for the first time this evening. After the first quarter, Greg Vellante, the only bowler to have bowled yet, is at 43 after 3. 2 for 5 on the head pin. No splits. Let's say hello to Mr. Anthony Leonardi for the first time this evening. And what an appearance that was. A 1 drop on the 7 pin. And the Leonardi is on the head pin in the second ball. A late falling second to last pin, and the 3 pin is all that's left standing on the plate of lane 6. And he'll open with a 10. A 1 drop becoming a 10 drop. That's a great place to be in. Or at least all things considered given the circumstances. Anthony Leonardi has a season record of 126 and 112 after 17 matches. There's a 2 drop, half Worcester for Mr. Anthony Leonardi. It's a punch out of the 3 and the 9 in this case. The remedial second ball results in a 5 and a 6 pin left on the deck. 8, 9, or 10 for Mr. Leonardi. That'll be a 9 for 19 after 2. Anthony Leonardi at home is 57 and 55, 1.04 win-loss ratio. Oh. When he's away, he's 69 and 57, a 1.21 win-loss ratio. What's going on? So I'm just saying hi to some folks rolling in for the Friday Night Pro League. It seems everybody knows me now, so that's a lemon drop and a 1 drop for Anthony Leonardi. On the 4 pin, second ball is on the pocket. 5 and the 7. Set back left. Anthony Leonardi has been averaging 1 to 1.84 for the season. Oh, and he'll make a great conversion out of that. 5-7 for a 10 box. 29 after 3 for Mr. Anthony Leonardi. Leonardi has a home average of 103.30 and a away average of 100.53. Leonardi with his first split of the night, 8 drop, 4-6. On the 4 and the 6 pin. And there's no easy way to play this. He'll take the 4 on the wood and the ball will return down the left channel. I guess I had a chance of rolling to the 6, but it just didn't do that. That's a 10 for Anthony Leonardi, 39 after 4. So we would have loved to have a front-facing camera this evening, but after discussing with the bowlers and assessing how busy this room is about to get, we had elected to forego that camera this evening, just because there's a big chance that lane 7 is going to be utilized very shortly, and then we got the Friday Night Pro League to the left of us. So fortunately, can't do much with the front camera this evening. And Anthony Leonardi, he'll touch 10, he'll drop 9. The 9 pin wiggles, but survives the first ball. Single pin, he misses to the right. It's going to be a markless half for Anthony Leonardi in addition to Greg Vellante. And he'll miss the second, get the third. We call that a Paul Grant special, in case anyone doesn't know. And let's take a look at the scores in that case, though, with 4 10 boxes. Still, oddly, almost a perfect half for Anthony Leonardi. He's at 49 after 5, and that score correction has gone in and is confirmed. 43, Greg Vellante. 49, Anthony Leonardi, a difference of 6. Very early in the match. And we're back. It's Greg Vellante in the red, the away bowler. Greg Vellante to the left of the head pin, and he'll drop 7. A late falling pin was late to the party. It's the 1-3-7 for Greg Vellante. He'll kick a piece of wood, which will trip the 3, and he'll leave the 1 and the 7. Greg Vellante averages at home 98.02. That's an 8 box for him in the 651. When Greg Vellante is away, he averages 102.63 with a high single of 140 and a high series of 542. Greg Vellante has 37 strikes, 133 spares, and 142 tens for the season with a perfect box percentage of 39. 8,516 seasonal total pins. Greg Vellante will drop 5. He's averaging 6.3 on the first ball. Anthony Leonardi has been averaging 4.2 on the first ball so far. 1, 2, 4, 8, 9 for Greg Vellante. Vellante, and that's first blood and the first mark of the game. The first mark of the game has been brought to you by Greg Vellante with that spare on that pile of 5. So he'll be filling a mark. Let's find out together, shall we? Greg Vellante on lane 5. Oh, and that mark fill is going to be a 1 drop, unfortunately. Off target and in the corner on the 10 pin. Greg Vellante overcorrects to the left, leaves the center diamond, the 6 and the 9. And a nice 10 box, though, for Greg. That's 72 and 8. So Greg Vellante, let's talk about his positioning. He's the number 1 seed in D North Division 4, division leader, so he's in the playoffs, and he has clinched. He's the number 4 seed in D North overall. To compare that to Anthony Leonardi, he's the number 2 seed in D North Division 4, and he's the number 8 seed in D North overall. Just to give you some perspective. Oh, and a 2-drop half Worcester on the left side for Greg Vellante. Vellante on the Worcester. What's on the head pin? It's a weirdly thin hit. Kind of phases through 2 pins. That's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Oh, and he'll end up leaving all of those, and it will be a 4 box for 76 and 9 for Greg Vellante. A couple of missed opportunities, especially in the first and second boxes, with some 9-drop single pin spare misses and a spare fill of 1. Just some rough goings for Greg Vellante in the first game. Lane 5, first ball, pocket shot, 8-drop, but no wood on the 5 and the 10, or at least not really helpful wood. A piece of wood across the 10, perpendicular, but not really going to be involved in the shot. Greg will punch the 5. Now it's on the 10. The 10 goes as well. Greg Vellante will end the first game with an 86. 1 mark. Fortunately, a fill of 1. 3 for 10 on the head pin. 1 split for Mr. Greg Vellante. Benchmark of 37 he's up by in the game. That's what Anthony Leonardi has to shoot for. And here he is right now. Anthony Leonardi to the left of the head pin. It looks like it's going to be a 3-drop. In the back left corner on the 4 pocket. And Anthony Leonardi will go off to the right this time, lead the 1, the 2, and the 5. Leonardi will take a 9 to open up the second half in the final quarter of the first game. 58 and 6 for Leonardi. I think. Action in the bullpen, check it for score correction, and yes. Yes, we are in sync. Anthony is the left of the head pin. 7-drop, late falling pin in the back right corner. I know these lanes have some interestingly warped plates in a fun way, I guess. I mean, some pins will fall when they are not expected to, and sometimes they don't. So the plates giveth and the plates taketh. Anthony Leonardi will punch the center down the head pin, leave the 3 and the 7. And he'll take an 8. 66 and 7 for Mr. Anthony Leonardi. Anthony Leonardi has a high single this season of 131, a high series this season, 591, 41 strikes, 152 spares, 155 tens, a 40% perfect box percentage, 8,656 seasonal total pins. And he'll punch 2 out, the 6 and the 9. Hey. And another punch for Anthony Leonardi. Oh, and he'll knock out everything but the 10. Great third ball and a great out. That's 75 in the 8th. Closing in by 11 pins to Greg Vellante. Doesn't even need a mark to really take the first game at this point. Just kind of has to cruise his way to 11 pins in 2 boxes. Head pin, 5 drop, split. Spread eagle minus the 7, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10. Leonardi will complete the symmetry. Poke the 10. 2, 3, 4, 6. It's like that Hey Arnold episode with the substitute teacher. Puts 4 students in all 4 corners just because he wanted symmetry. That's a 7 drop. 7 box for Anthony Leonardi, 82 and 9. Automatic score system is being a little funky. Gave him, for some reason, a 10 box, but it's been corrected, 82 and 9. Leonardi to the left, drops 5, drops 6. 1, 3, 4, 7. Anthony Leonardi has been averaging 4.4 on the first ball. Greg Vellante averaging 5.5 on the first ball. First game. Anthony Leonardi caps a piece of wood and plays the pocket, but plays it light, and the 3-pin survives. Capping the wood can lead to interesting results. And that will be a 9 for Anthony Leonardi. He will take the first game with a 91. Let's assess the first game, shall we? 91 for Anthony Leonardi, 86 for Greg Vellante. Difference of 5 in Anthony Leonardi's favor. He obviously took the first game. Both bowlers 3 for 10 in the head pin. Anthony Leonardi 2 splits, Vellante 1. And the fill total so far, Greg Vellante in the lead, totaling 1 in bonus pins, averaging 1 per mark. Leonardi yet to be on the board. Off to the second game we march. Welcome to the second game. It's Greg Vellante down there. I'm Steve Kelly back here. It's great to have you along. Here at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Getting a quick late season ACST match in before the Friday Night Pro League kicks off here. 2 teams are home this evening in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I forget which 2 academies. You can look it up on alleychat.net for all the stats. That's Greg Vellante, not in the head pin, but dropped 7. It's the 1, the 3, and the 6. One, 3, 6 for Vellante. Misses the head pin, takes the 3 and the 6, leaves the pin he should have shot at. That's always annoying. I know I do that a lot. And I'm just like, I took everything but the pin I was shooting at. And there's the pin he was meaning to shoot at. That's a 10 box for Greg Vellante to start things out. So Greg Vellante, he has 7 out of his 17 matches with double-digit wins in terms of points take home. 21.25 for 50 is his head pin average per match. And on average, taking 11.57 splits per match. And he's on the head pin there, and there is a strike for Greg Vellante. A nice 10 drop. If I'm fast enough, I'll get you a replay here. Here's the strike, in case you missed it. Right in the pocket. On the 1-3 pocket on the Manhattan side. Greg Vellante. Second mark of the game with a strike. 20 after 2 and a bonus. On a strike, Greg Vellante opens up not on the head pin, but a 5 drop so far. 1, 2, 8, 6, 10. So this next ball will complete the strike fill. You get two balls for a strike fill. Vellante, it was looking promising for a second, but the ball tailed off. But that's going to be an 8 fill for 28 after 2. It's the 1 and the 10. Take a 9, leaving the head pin. 37 after 3 for Greg Vellante. Both of our bowlers bowling in this match this evening bowl out of Academy Lanes here in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Greg Vellante is the away bowler for this particular match, this divisional match. Here's Greg on the pocket. It's going to be a split of 8, 7-10. 7 pin almost looks a little bit not quite centered or slightly off the spot. It looks a little odd. Maybe it's slid, maybe the plate's off, who knows. But there's a bunch of wood across the in front of the 10 in a T-shaped position. Greg played that wood. That was the best idea, but couldn't quite get anything to go over to the 7. That'll be a 9 for Greg, 46 after 4. Greg Vellante has taken 48 points in his past 5 matches. That's 9.6 points per match on the take-home. In his past 5 matches, he's averaged 496.2 in match totals, totaling 2481 pins. Greg Vellante will drop 5 on the head pin and split 5. Spread equal minus the 2, 7-10, 4-6-3. Vellante will nudge the 3. Now he's got a banana split, the 7-10, 4-6. And Vellante will finish with an 8 box. That will put him at 54 after 5 with that 1 strike and the 8 fill on the strike. 9, 9, 8, 10 otherwise. He's averaging 6.3 on the first ball now. That's a good average. That's roughly on par for Class A, actually. So good first ball average for Greg Vellante. Here's Anthony Leonardi now. Pocket shot. 6 drop on a split, 7-10, 5-6. Piece of wood, I think it's in. I'm like 85% that that's in. It's funny, at the Legal Lanes in RFAA League last night, someone had a situation like this where the pin was slightly out, and I took one look at it from way back, and I said, that's in. And a bunch of people didn't believe me, and then someone went down, they're like, oh my god, it was in. I was like, yeah. I've been bowling at Legal Lanes for 30-something years. I kind of know when a pin's in or out just by looking at it. Anyways, that's an 8 box for Anthony Leonardi, about as much as he could do with that split. Second ball missed, third ball took 2. Anthony Leonardi has 3 matches at or over 550 this season. Has 2 of his 17 matches being shutout victories. Pocket shot there and a strike for Anthony Leonardi. Second frame is a strike for both bowlers. Let's look at this again. Anthony Leonardi on the 1-2 pocket, Brooklyn side. The 5 and the 9 fell last. Leonardi filling a strike on lane 6. On the pocket, but a little full this time. He'll drop 5 and fill 5, split 5. Next ball completes the strike fill. It's a spread eagle minus the 3. Leonardi will play the left pocket, leave the 6 and the 9, and that's an 8 fill on the strike, just like Greg Vellante. 26 after 2 for Leonardi. And that'll be an 8 in the third box for 34 after 3 for Anthony Leonardi. 6 of his 17 matches have contained double-digit wins, double-digit point take-home for Anthony Leonardi. He's been on average going 18.67 for 50 on the head pin in every match and 8.14 splits per match. Head pin shot there, almost another strike, drops 9. Leaves the 6 pin. Improving his first ball average. He's up to 6 on the average now. Oh, and that ball wildly off target. Fortunately, that sails into the channel. That's a 10, 44 and 4 for Leonardi. Perfect on the head pin this game. 2 splits. One box to go before we finish the half. And here we go. Anthony Leonardi will drop 5. 4 horsemen right side and the 7. 1, 3, 6, 7, 10. It's on the pocket. It'll run down the 4 horsemen, and it'll spare that up. Great shot by Anthony Leonardi. Get you the replay in just a moment here. Watch this. On the 4 horsemen right and the 7, the way that last pin kicked off the sidewall and rolled over. That was great. So real quick on the scores, there's a difference of 5 for Anthony Leonardi in the total. The game, they're tied 54 apiece, but Anthony Leonardi is on a mark, an open mark. To be continued. Here's Greg Vellante. Head pin. Split. 6. 4, 6, 3, 10. Greg punches the 10. Leaves the 4, 6, 3. And he'll take a 7. 61 and 6 for Greg Vellante. Greg Vellante has gone 7 for 16 on the head pin with 4 splits. If he bowls all strikes from here on out, he has a max game of 181. Greg Vellante has been averaging 6.2 on the first ball. Totaling 9, and Mark Phil is averaging 4.5 per mark. Here's Greg. Head pin again. Much better leave. 8 drop. 3, 6. Oh, and he'll just miss to the left of the target pin. It's Greg Vellante versus the 3 and the 6 for a 10 box. Split the difference for a 9. 70 and 7 for Mr. Greg Vellante. In fact, while we have a moment, here's Greg Vellante's stats. Again, he's first place in Division 4 and 4th in the wild card overall. This is his final match of the season. He's 129 and 109. He's already in the playoffs, and he clinched. Vellante, pocket. 8, setback left, 5, 7 with wood. Oh, and he'll play the wood that was a little out front, and it was problematic. It didn't take the 5, despite being closest to the 5. So it'll be a 9 or a 10 for Greg Vellante. 10 box it is, 80 and 8. For Greg Vellante, who averages 100.19 on the season, so he's well on his average this game to reach his average. 80 and 8 is confirmed. Just making sure on the score correction down there, and it has been corrected. Greg will drop 8, maybe 9. We'll find out. It'll be 8, 5, 8 for Greg Vellante, who's averaging 6.4 on the first ball. Again, those are Class A numbers. At least on the first ball, and his head pin percentage ain't bad either. 53%, 10 for 19. Oh, and he misses the object wood and the object pin. And that'll be a 10 box on the retray. Something we call Paul Grant Special and miss the second, get the third on a spare opportunity. $1 donation to Candlepins per occurrence. Paul Grant may be in Peabody, Massachusetts, calling the Metro Friday Night Pro League, but he's always here in spirit. We'll talk about Candlepins for Cancer a little bit later on. But I would briefly also like to highlight tomorrow at Battlers Bowling Center at about 11 o'clock or so. Greg Guyar and Mike Morin and I think Paul Grant will be going live for the Candlepins for Cancer ladder series. So check that out tomorrow. Vellante in the pocket shot. 8 drop. 3-5. That's 4 8 drops in a row on the first ball for Greg Vellante, averaging 6.4 on the first ball, 11 for 20 in the headpin with 5 splits. And he'll take a spare there. Won't let that one get away. That's an even 100 plus a bonus for Greg Vellante in the 10th. Another score correction pending. Should be just to fix the spare. Anyone got any games on their phone while we wait? There it is, 110 plus a bonus for Greg Vellante, who's gone 8 for 10 on the headpin this game. So on the headpin, great exclamation points to end the game with a 109 with that 9 fill for Greg Vellante. 2-game total of 195 for Mr. Vellante. 2 marks this game, strike and spare. 86 in the first, 109 in the second, 55% headpin completion percentage, 5 splits, 18 in bonus pins off of marks, averaging 6 per mark. That's the story for Greg Vellante after 2. He's up in the game by 55, 5 boxes ahead of Anthony Leonardi, but Anthony Leonardi has an open mark in the 5th, 54 in a bonus. So as soon as Anthony Leonardi is ready to return to the approaches of lanes 5 and 6 here at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, will determine what happens from here on out. Here on the ACST, I'm Steve Kelly. Great to have you along. Looks like Anthony Leonardi is still working on something back here, so let's talk about Anthony Leonardi. We'll show you his rap sheet here. He's currently 2nd place in the division, just behind Greg Vellante in Division 4, Class D North. 8th place in the wild card. He has clinched the playoffs, though. So that announcement did go out on Facebook. This is his final match in addition to Greg, 126, 112. And here's Anthony Leonardi. Working on a spare. Oh, and a very bouncy ball. That was weird. It's like that Napoleon Dynamite scene. Like, you got like 3 feet of air there, man. That's a 5 fill. It is a legal ball as long as it just touches the planks before the foul line. Second ball, a little off, 1-6-10. And it's going to be an 8 for Anthony Leonardi, 67 and 6. Anthony Leonardi is 7 for 16 on the headpin up to this point with 4 splits, averaging 5.5 on the first ball. He'll drop 5 again. Missed the headpin to the right. 1-2-5, 8-9. He'll punch the 9, leaving a 2x2 pile of pins to the left of center. 6 box or greater. And he'll split the difference for an 8, 75 and 7 for Anthony Leonardi. His home house is Academy Lanes, as we talked about before. And Anthony Leonardi's past 5 matches, he's taken 46 points, and he's been averaging 9.2 points per match. He's been averaging 35.8 for matches, totaling 2679 pins in his past 5 matches at least. That's a 3 drop for Anthony Leonardi. He'll punch 2 more. 1-5-3-4-7. Ouch, and that'll be a 5 box for Leonardi for 80 and 8. So that will actually put Greg Vellante and Anthony Leonardi had a dead heat in the 8th, 80 versus 80. So the second game has suddenly become a toss-up here. I kind of thought Anthony Leonardi might have had it, but a couple of deficits here and there, and he's now tied. Vellante to the right. Anthony Leonardi to the right. A 3-drop, another 3-drop to the right of the head pin. It'll overcorrect to the left and take the 7. And the results of the box is 8 for Anthony Leonardi after 3 balls, leaving the 5 and the 10. That puts him at 88 and 9. He's now down by 2 in the 9th. And he is going to need a mark at this point. He can get to 118 if he gets a triple strike. Pocket shot. Oh, and it's, yikes. 6-drop. We got the Triforce of Wisdom on the left, the 2 triangle, the 2, 4, 5, 10. Leonardi, he made the shot at Lakeside. Nothing doing this time. 5-10, no mark. The second game goes to Greg Vellante. It will be an 8 for Anthony Leonardi with a 96. After 2 games, Anthony Leonardi has gone under in the total, 187 to Greg Vellante's 195. Second game for Anthony Leonardi is 96 after a 91 in the first game. It's 2-2 for the points so far. The total has been passed to Greg Vellante now. So Greg Vellante has the total, is holding the football in terms of total. Just by 8, but it got passed around. We still got 3 games to go here on the ACST. 2 games of 5 done. Just tuning in, we still got 3 great games of bowling to go. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's great to have you along with us for this end of season in Class D North Division 4 matchup between Anthony Leonardi and Greg Vellante. Greg Vellante just getting warmed up down there. Practice slides. It's Greg Vellante in the red. Don't mistake him for Academy 2 in the red to our left. Here at Haverhill, Massachusetts, Academy Lanes, Greg Vellante, away bowler. And we're off with a lemon drop in the first ball and a 1-drop. That be a lemon drop, sure is. On the 4-pin specifically. And he'll Worcester that lemon drop. It's a lemon Worcester. 2-8 and the 4 down. Greg Vellante just needs pins at this point. And that will be a 5-box. 15397. Yeah, that's going to be 5 after 1 for Mr. Greg Vellante. Where are we this evening? Again, I keep saying Academy Lanes. We are indeed at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Multiple Friday Night Pro League teams here tonight. 2 of the 3 are home. 3 distinct rooms of bowling, red, blue, and green. We are in the red room this evening. And there's also Pub 125 with great food, great drink. So check them out if you're ever here. It's a 5-drop for Greg Vellante, 1, 3, 6, 9, 10. It is the 4 horsemen right side in the 9. It's not a Caleri. Greg's ball tails to the right and leaves the 1 in the 9. Academy Lanes was founded in 1963. Owned by the DeBurrow family. On 725 South Main Street. It's an 8-box for Greg Vellante. Academy Lanes is about 1.7 miles from downtown and 1.3 miles from the interstate. Right next door is Aroma Joe's. Great place for coffee and little treats. Plaza is home to a plethora of other businesses like Wicked Axe, located next door. So you can go bowling and go axe throwing in Academy Plaza. It's a 4-drop for Greg Vellante. Not on the head pin. Pile of pins in the center. Doesn't have a name for the shot. He missed it. Second ball. Seems like there's a sticky spot on the approach. I've seen both Greg and Anthony Leonardi react to that, so don't know what's going on with that. But Vellante, he'll miss again. Ouch, that'll be a 4-box. That's 17 after 3 for Greg Vellante. Having a bit of a tough time here in the first quarter of the third game. Still plenty of time. Greg Vellante reclaimed the total and took the second game. Both bowlers have 1 game apiece so far in terms of the point differentials. Very competitive match between two playoff-bound bowlers, and Greg Vellante almost with a Julian strike. Wasn't on the head pin, dropped everything but the head pin, effectively. Vellante on the single, and he'll miss the single to the left. And Greg on the retry. He'll miss it again. Again, observing that sticky spot on the ground. With that 9-box, he's at 26 after 4. For Mr. Vellante, who's 11 for 24 in the head pin with 5 splits. His first ball average has gone down a little bit since the last game. He's at 5.6 in the first ball now. 46% head pin completion percentage with 5 splits. Vellante, head pin. Oh, and will be a strike. Oh, yes, it sure will be. An interesting kind of domino-y kind of strike, but that's a great way to end the half. Watch the strike again. On the 1-2 pocket, push the 5, and then push the 9. Greg Vellante is on a mark at the end of the half. That's 36 and a bonus after 5. And here's Anthony Leonardi wanting to waste no time here. Left the head pin. That's going to be almost a 6-pack drop, but not quite. Actually, it's going to actually be a split. He did not connect with the head pin, but the head pin fell eventually due, courtesy of some backdoor action. It's now the 5-6-10 with Wood. It might be a slam dunk of a spare. I say might. Big asterisk on that. He left the 5. That's a very Academy kind of shot right there. Almost lakeside-ish, even. That's a 10 for Anthony Leonardi after 1. Anthony Leonardi. Academy Lanes is owned by the DeBurrow family. Opened in 1963, celebrates 60 years of operation December of 2023. 44 lanes across 3 rooms, the largest candlepin house, I believe. Will that be a strike for Anthony Leonardi? Yes, it is. The 6-pin took its time, but did fall. Let's watch that again. These late falling strikes were like the last 2 pins kind of think about it, but watch that. That was the 6-pin falling last. Leonardi on a strike fill. Both bowlers with a strike in the half. He's off to the left. 6-pack and the 7, so that's a 3 drop. Leonardi on the strike fill. Ooh. Well, that's going to be a 4 on the strike fill. Punch the 6. That's 24 after 4. And a 4-box. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. 28 after 3 for Anthony Leonardi. He's still above Greg Vellante in the third, but just some rough goings, some of these punch-outs. That 4-box definitely put a damper on the streak he was on there. Leonardi on the head pin again. It's the Triforce of Power this time on the right. No, excuse me, it's a diamond. 5 drop. And a split. 3 diamond and 7. Cuts half the diamonds. Maybe the rest of the diamond if that pin falls forward this way. Not quite. 5 and the 9 are left on the deck. And I'll clean up for a 10. A nice 10. 38 and 4 for Anthony Leonardi. Leonardi on lane 6. On the 4-6 pocket. Been still thinking about falling. That's a 6 drop after everything's settled. It is the inverse of a spread eagle. It's the T-bone. It's the 1-5-8-9. And it's gone. That's a spare for Anthony Leonardi. And that's 48-5. After all said and done, 2 marks for Anthony Leonardi, 1 mark for Greg Vellante. It's 36-48, and both of those are open marks for Greg Vellante and Anthony Leonardi. Greg Vellante will be filling a strike starting right about now here on lane 5 at Academy Lanes on the ACST Class D North. The final match of the season for these two bowlers, round 18. Here's Greg Vellante working on a strike. It's going to be a 6-drop so far. 1-3-7-8. So there's some wood to the right of the 3. And there's really no good way to play the wood. The idea is to play the 1-3 pocket. Just like that. It was the right idea. But the 7 and the 8s, nothing really doing there. So it'll be an 8 fill. 44-5. And a 9 box puts him at 53-6. They're going to have to score correct that to a 9. I'll wait for that. Pup 125 at Academy Lanes, newly added in 2022, is located on the rightmost room, the green room, and offers food, drinks, as well as seating and sports viewing on several large TVs. So check out Pup 125 at Academy Lanes. It's a headpin shot and a split for Greg Vellante. It's a 6-drop. 3-6-7-8. His first ball average is going back up. He's at 5.9 on the first ball. Kind of was way up and then dipped a bit. Now it's kind of climbing again. Sometimes you just have to sit for a minute and just kind of assess. Greg Vellante will play the wood, and he'll take 1. He'll take 2. It's like 2 more than I thought he was going to take. 3 and the 6 are left. Three and the 6 for Greg Vellante. And another one's gone, but we'll come back. Oh, it sure will. That's a 10 box for Greg Vellante. That's 63-7. That's the action of this room. Sometimes you can just get some crazy pins that just bounce off of every angle, surface, wall, and whatever it is that you could possibly think of. Some action you kind of don't really expect to happen. It can happen in this room. It can also not happen in this room too. So that's a 3-drop for Vellante. It's the center diamond and the 6 triangle. Here's Greg to the right of the pocket. 1-2-5. For a 10 box, with a 7 box guarantee, he'll leave the headpin for a 9. 72-8 for Mr. Vellante. Greg in the red to the right of the headpin. That's the 4 horsemen left and the 8 and the 9. That's a 4-drop. Vellante's got to hit kind of the Manhattan side of the headpin to run everything down, but he'll leave the 1 and the 8. Kind of missed his target, missed the pocket. Piece of wood rolling and waiting to settle. In the rule book, we got to wait for the wood to settle before we can throw the next ball. So that's why there's these pauses here. And also just to make sure we're just, courtesying with the Friday Night Pro League to the left of us, all the same. Vellante, 8, 9, or 10. It'll be 8 for 80 and 9. Academy Lanes has a healthily stocked pro shop, featuring plenty of brands of bowling balls, bags, towels, shoes, and accessories. Actually, both myself and Brian Hebert picked up some new Dexter-branded bowling shoes on a sale here. Really awesome, considering it's not always easy to find bowling shoes, especially ones in your size. Or if you're like me who slides on the wrong foot and needs a slide pad on a specific foot. And that's a... Oops. If I could put this in the right cell. That's a split for Greg Vellante and an 8-drop. A lot of wood down there. Lumberyard amongst the 7 and the 9 pins. Vellante for the spare. Play the wood. And it mixes weird. It kind of scatters, and the 7 pin isn't touched. So he's looking at a 90 game. If he can hit this, he won't. It'll be a 9 box. That'll be an 89 third game for Greg Vellante. That's going to be a 3-game total of 284. 3 for 10 in the head pin this game with 2 splits. 47% in the head pin. 5.8 on the first ball on average. 7 splits for Greg Vellante. Up in the game by 41, 5 boxes ahead of Anthony Leonardi, who is coming back off the bench on a spare. The fill on that spare is going to be a 3. It's the 4 triangle. It's 51 and 5 for Leonardi. Compared that to Greg Vellante's 44 after 5. And he'll miss again, and second ball goes where the first ball went. Kind of looking down, looking at his arm, looking at his leg, looking at his foot. Not sure what the error was there, but something just didn't happen. Third ball on the pocket, thin hit. Leaves the 3 diamonds, and that's a 7 box for Anthony Leonardi. It's 58 in 6. It's a hip and shot, 7 drop, and a split for Anthony Leonardi, 5-6-10. Five, 6, 10 with wood, kind of in front of the 5 and the 6. Gonna be a tough shot. But that Anthony Leonardi makes it really easy. I know I was even staring at it thinking, I was like, how would I even play this? But hey, we don't have to think. We now know Anthony Leonardi just took those 3 pins out for a spare, 68 and a bonus and 7. And we're just going to pause real quick to clear a piece of debris down there. So yes, we're at Academy Lanes. Brand new automatic scoring installed, courtesy of Cubica MFBES. ICBA sanctioned house, obviously. Pro League bowls here a lot. 3 home teams, Academy 1, 2, and 3. And we talked about Pub 125 and the Pro Shop, of course. That's the story of Academy Lanes. Come on down. Big house, the most lanes in any Candlepin Alley, as far as I know, in the United States. 4 drop, 4 fill for Anthony Leonardi. And that is actually a 6-pack. Check his ID. We ID here at Academy Lanes. Brought to you by Pub 125. If you're over 21, check out the bar here. But if you're not over 21, there's also food. So just check out Pub 125, will you? 6-pack, left side. That's the 4 horsemen left side, and the 5 and the 8. Anthony Leonardi to the left of the head pin leaves the 1, the 5, and the 8. And it'll be a 7 box for 79 and 8 for Anthony Leonardi. Up by 7 in the 8th to Greg Vellante's 72. Leonardi is averaging 4.9 on the first ball. He's 11 for 28 in the head pin with 8 splits, totaling 24 in fill totals, averaging 4.8 per mark fill. Anthony Leonardi has 2 strikes and 3 spares. Mr. Leonardi. He'll drop 5. He'll miss the head pin to the left. That's the 1, 7, 10, 3, 8. Ball goes off to the right. Leaves the 1 and the 10. Eight box, 87 and 9 for Mr. Anthony Leonardi. So he needs 2 pins to tie, anything higher than 2 to win the third game. Pausing for a quick score correction. The automatic score system was a little bit over optimistic on what his total was there. Now it's correct. Head pin split, 8 drop, 5-10 for Leonardi. That's a split, but there is some wood, and that could go. There's Justin Scally missing a single pin. Good to see Justin Scally out again. I think he might have been, he was taking a brief hiatus from bowling, and now I see him bowling again, so that's good to see him out there. Leonardi will take 1, no mark, and that will be a fouled 9 box. So I believe that's going to be a 96. I'll let you know if that's different, but my count, 96. 3-game total of 283 for Anthony Leonardi, 91, 96, 96. Greg Vellante, 86, 109, 89 for a 3-game total of 284. Greg Vellante still holds on to the total by 1, but Anthony Leonardi will take the third game by 7. So Anthony Leonardi currently 4 points, Greg Vellante 2 points, plus the grand total pinfall up to this point. But it's only by 1. An uneasy lead, and 89 to 96 is the confirmed total. Taking a walk down to the 4th game here. You're watching the ACST. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's Greg Vellante at Anthony Leonardi. Both bowlers bowl out of academy lanes here, but there always has to be one away bowler and one home bowler no matter what. So Greg Vellante is the away bowler in this divisional match. Greg Vellante on lane 6. Goes off to the left of the head pin, but he gets a mix. 5 drop. 1, 2, 6, 9, 10 for Greg. And he's on the object, but a little bit lightish, or I'm not sure, but the 2 pin is left. Academy Lanes is sanctioned by the International Candlepin Bowling Association, as well as affiliated with the Massachusetts Bowling Association. 10 box for Greg Vellante, 10 after 1. It seems that Academy Lanes' website first came online around November 28th, 2001 with a classic "This page is under construction" banner, with the full site showing up in the archives on archive.org as old as March 27th, 2002. When digging through old archived versions of Academy Lanes' website on the Wayback Machine, I found that they had glow bowling at least as far back as May of 2002. That's a half Worcester for Greg Vellante on the left side. And he'll sail through the void again. Yikes. So that's a half Worcester, and the second ball didn't change that. And Vellante, 1, 5, 4, 7, 10. It's a 5 box, 15 after 2. All right, Greg on lane 6. Goes off to the right. Pins are still mixing. It's going to be 7. Yep, 7 drop. 1, 9, 10. Not a bad mix considering. And Vellante goes off to the left of the head pin. And Vellante will take an 8, leaving the 9 and the 10. Missed his mark. That's 23 after 3. A unique feature of Academy Lanes is its 3 unique rooms, with seemingly 3 different lane personalities. The leftmost room is the room we're in this evening, the red room. The most recently renovated room seems to feel the most traditional with all wood lanes and approaches. There's the middle room, the blue room. It's the largest. It also appears to be effectively all wood, but it plays a lot differently than the red room. And I've only ever bowled in there once, and that was just this past week against Aaron St. Cyr, and I can confirm it is an interesting room. I had really good games. I had really bad games in that room. And then there's the green room, which is all synthetic on the approaches and lanes. Kind of a newer material. That's a 7-box for Greg Vellante, 30 after 4. But the red room, this is sort of the quote-unquote pro room. This is where the Friday Night Pro League plays. It's where a lot of ACST matches and leagues are generally in this room. 30 and 4 for Vellante. Next ball is to the left of the head pin. He drops 6. 1-3, 6-9. Spare opportunity. He'll take 2, leave 2, leaving the 1 and the 3. He'll go markless as halfway through the 4th. And Vellante, again, with that sticky spot down there that he's visibly remarking on. 38 after 5 for Greg Vellante. He only went 1 for 5 in the head pin, and that one head pin shot was a split. 2 strikes, 2 spares, 43% in the head pin, 8 splits, 26 in mark fills, averaging 6.5 per mark. 322 so far in the total. He's averaging 5.7 on the first ball. Here's Anthony Leonardi. Goes off to the left, drops 2. 4 in the 7. And it'll tail off to the right this time. It's the 1, 2, 5, 8, 9. And he'll punch, and he'll leave 1 pin on the deck, the 2 pin to be exact. That's a 9-box for Anthony Leonardi in the first. Anthony Leonardi, what we're going to tell you about him, he has 9 of his 17 matches totaling at or over 500 in grand total pinfall. His longest streak of strings at or over 100 has been 5. That's Anthony Leonardi off to the right of the head pin with a 6-pack and a 4-drop. Check his ID. And on the 6-pack, he'll miss it to the right. And it'll take 5 of the 6-pack. That's another 9 on the board for Anthony Leonardi. And his longest streak of matches at or over 500 has been 3 this season. His longest winning streak, totaling greater than 7 points per match, has been 2. He averages 7.13 points per home match, 7.67 points per away match. Anthony Leonardi is to the right of the head pin, and he drops 6. That's the 1, 2, 4, 10. In his past 5 matches, he's had 12 strikes, 60 spares, and 45 tens. He averages 2.4 strikes per match, 12 spares per match, and 9 tens per match in his past 5 matches at least. Oh, missed the object pin. Ball kind of took a round trip, took another pin out, but left the 1 and the 2. In Anthony Leonardi's past 5 home matches, he's taken 45 points, averaging 9 points per match. Some recent performance evaluations for Anthony Leonardi. 26 after 3 with that 8-box. In his past 5 away matches, he's taken 33 points. He's been averaging 6.6 per away match in his past 5. He has 11 out of his 17 matches without double-digit wins. The last time he faced Greg Vellante, he took 9 points, and that's another lemon drop for Anthony Leonardi on the 6-pin. Lots of lemon drops this evening. Oh no, punch the left side, half Worcester left. Three drops so far. Hopefully something better than a 3. There's 4, there's 5. 5 it is, 31 after 4 for Anthony Leonardi. Anthony Leonardi has 4 superlatives in Class D. He has the 10th highest Class D average at 101.9. The 3rd highest Class D total strikes at 41. The 10th highest Class D average strike fill at 8.36. And the 5th highest Class D high series at 591. That's a 5 drop and a split for Leonardi. Spread eagle minus the 10. So that's a 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Leonardi will take the 4 and the 7 out and leave the 2, the 3, and the 6. That's a 7 for Leonardi, and that's a 38 half, a rough half for Anthony Leonardi. But both bowlers are at 38 even after 5. So still a close matchup in the game. 38 after 5. Total, and in the total, it's only within 1. So this is a very close match. In the game, they're tied. And the total, they're within 1. 322 for Greg Vellante. 321 for Anthony Leonardi. Anthony Leonardi has taken 2 games so far. Greg Vellante has taken 1. That's the only real big sway so far. And when I say big sway, I don't really mean that big of a sway. So very competitive match. Both bowlers taking each other to task in the competitive realm here. Greg Vellante on lane 5. Vellante coasts to the right of the pocket. He'll drop 6. 1, 2, 7, 10 for Greg Vellante. And he's on the pocket. And 2 pieces of wood will take that out. That's a spare for Greg Vellante. If I can get my dang spare thing to work. There we go. Here's the replay on that shot. I don't know if I'll have enough time to show it, but here we go. Watch that. And the pieces of wood come over to take the 10, and goodbye. Anyways, here's the follow-up on that spare. 6 drop, 6 fill. For Greg Vellante, that puts him at 64 and 6. His 4th 6 drop in a row, averaging 5.8 on the first ball up to this point in the match after 37 boxes. Greg to the right of the head pin, leaves the head pin. Nine or 10 on the head pin. It goes. That's a 10 box for Greg Vellante, 64 and 7. So we talked about Candlepins for Cancer in their ladder series. They're going to be kicking off at about 11 o'clock at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire tomorrow. But also check out Candlepins number 4cancer.com for info on future tournaments, or if you just want to donate to a great cause and a great charity, check out Candlepins number 4cancer.com. Greg Vellante. So left of the head pin, drops 3 on the triangle on the far back left side. Leaves the center diamond and the 6 triangle. And he'll take the back right triangle, the 6 triangle, leaving the center diamond, the 1 diamond. 6 or greater for Greg Vellante. Vellante will take 2 of the 4 of the diamond for an 8 box, 72 and 8. Greg Vellante in his past, he has 9 out of 17 matches at or over 500. 4 is his longest streak of strings at or over 100, so 4 games in a row at or over 100. That's his current record this season. Bit of a thin hit to the left, not quite a half Worcester, but some extra pins fall. That's a 5 drop. Greg Vellante's longest streak of matches at or over 100 has been 3. Longest winning streak of 7 points per match, greater than 7 points per match has been 4. 8.13 points per away match, 7.11 points per home match on average. He'll miss the mark there, 1-9-10. Greg Vellante in his past 5 matches has taken 15 strikes, 38 spares, and 32 tens, averaging 3 strikes per match, 7.6 spares per match, and 6.4 tens per match in his past 5. It's an 8 box for Greg. 80 and 9. And Greg Vellante's past 5 away matches, meanwhile, he's taken 48 points, and that was 9.6 points per match in his past 5 away matches. Past 5 home matches, meanwhile, he's taken 39 points, averaging 7.8 points per home match. He has 10 out of 17 matches without double-digit wins. And last time he faced Anthony Leonardi, he took 5 points. That meant there was a tie somewhere. Greg Vellante. Head pin, finish hit. 5 drop and a split, spread eagle minus the 3. In the 10th frame here. Greg Vellante very graciously giving yield to Austin Barnes on lane 4 right there. See him kicking off with a 5-7-10 split hole, have you know. He's stunned. That face was great. Greg Vellante, to the left of the, or to the right of the target. Hit a piece of wood that took the 7. 4-6, 2-10. It'll be a 6-boxer greater for Greg Vellante. And Vellante will settle for a 7, and that'll be an 87 game 4 for a 4-game total of 371 for Greg Vellante. 40% on the head pin, 5.7 on the first ball on average. 16 head pin shots for 40 with 9 splits. In this game, he only went 2 for 10 on the head pin, and both of those head pin shots were splits. Here's Anthony Leonardi on the head pin, and wow, that was a weird head pin non-action. I don't know what that was. That was a 5-drop and a really weird one at that. And the 5-drop was only after a mix. But whatever, that was a spare for Anthony Leonardi. Goodbye to whatever the heck that was. Let's watch the spare because that was way more fun to watch. On the pocket, he cleaned that up real good. All right, Anthony Leonardi. He's on the 1-3 pocket, filling that spare with, oh my goodness, a 5. You got to be kidding me. Look at that. A pin slid even. 7, 8, 9, 10, 5, and the 8 slid almost behind the 5. Welcome to the Red Room of Academy Lanes. Like I said, some stuff happens in this room and some stuff just doesn't happen in this room, and that's an example of something that absolutely didn't happen. But a good spare. You could spare that up. That's a spare leave. And look at that. He spares it up. That's 2 marks in a row for Anthony Leonardi. Watch this. 7, 8, 9, 10, and the 5. And the 8 pin is like an honorary, like 8.5 pin. You see the way everything just kind of mowed down to the right side. So Anthony Leonardi on a second spare in a row. Leonardi, right at the head pin. And the red room giveth, and the red room taketh. That's a 3 fill for 66 and 7. It's a 6-pack in the 8. Will he spare this up? Not quite. It's now just a 6-pack. And Leonardi will, that will unfortunately be a 4-box for 70 and 8. He's now down by 2 to Greg Vellante in the 8th. Greg Vellante 72 and 8. Anthony Leonardi 70 and 8. With 2 boxes to go before we finish the 4th game and saunter into the 5th game. Here's Anthony Leonardi. Head pin. Oh, an explosive 9-drop. It almost looked like it was going to be a strike. That elevates his first ball pins down cumulative average to 4.7. Single pin shot on the 6-pin for Anthony Leonardi. And there it goes. That's a spare. 80 and 9 for Anthony Leonardi now. 3 marks. He's kind of come alive this half in particular. Markless in the first half, 3 marks in the second half. So Anthony Leonardi on a mark, 80 and 9. Hopefully trying to get to 87 and 10. It's looking likely. He's not on the head pin. He'll drop 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 9. 7 fill. That will be the 4th game effectively for Anthony Leonardi unless he misses everything here. And he won't. That's another spare for Anthony Leonardi. Let's watch that replay. 1, 2, 9. He was right on it. Straightforward shot. The 9-pin even took a little hop before it fell. Leonardi will drop 7, and he'll fill with 7, and he'll finish with a 104 in the 10th for a 4-game total of 387 for Anthony Leonardi. For both bowlers with a 40% head pin completion percentage. Anthony Leonardi has taken 3 games now with 6 points. Greg Vellante holds on to 2. The total has swayed back to Anthony Leonardi by 16, 387 to Greg Vellante's 371. Anthony Leonardi took the fourth game by 17, which largely affected his total take-home here. So going into the fifth game, it's now going to be a pretty big game for Greg Vellante in particular to try to take 6 points if he can. Try to even this out just a little bit. What's going to happen? Here, tune in with me and let's find out here in the fifth and final game at the Red Room at Academy Lanes, in this room that's getting ever louder by the second. A lot of people in this room right now. Friday Night Pro League and open bowling and just whatever it is, you name it. Academy 2 is a very loud team. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic or if my mic is successfully suppressing it. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, loud room. I can barely hear what I'm saying. Greg Vellante will start out here on lane 6. Here we go. Greg Vellante opening up just to the right of the pocket. Drops 6, 4 horsemen left side. Vellante into 6 drop on the 4 horsemen left side. Takes 3 of the 4. He hit it just a little bit awkwardly. Wasn't quite on the pocket. A little bit, slightly too full. And he'll clean that up for a 10. That's 10 after 1 for Greg Vellante. After a quick score correction because it gave him a 9 box for some interesting reason. Vellante currently 39% in the head pin. Anthony Leonardi is 40% in the head pin. Greg Vellante is currently averaging 5.9 on the first ball up to this point. 5.9 pins, that is. Oh, and a head pin shot a little bit too full. It's a 3 drop talon spread eagle. Kaka. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, 8. Oh, and the second ball sails right through the void where the first ball went. Now Greg needs some pins. More than 3 pins would be preferable. Vellante will take 2, take 3, and that will be 4 pins left on the deck for a 6. 16 after 2 for Greg Vellante. He left the 2, the 3, the 6, and the 10 on the deck. Greg Vellante has 3 superlatives. He has the 20th high Class D North average at 100.3, the 5th highest Class D total strikes at 37, and the 5th highest Class D average strike fill at 8.65. Here's Greg Vellante on the pocket. Drops 8. Best first ball he's had this game so far. That's the 5 and the 3. Greg Vellante recently faced Kevin Martell in round 17. He took 12 points with a 5-18 series, 94, 121, 94, 95, and 114, and that's a spare for Mr. Greg Vellante. Watch that. 3-5. He fires just a little bit down center and drifts to the right and gets a spare off of it. Greg Vellante had 5 strikes, 7 spares, and 6 tens in that match against Kevin Martell in round 17. Vellante's working on a spare right now. Lane 6, Academy Lanes. Oh, to the right of the head pin, and 7 drop. I think. Could be an 8 drop. It will be an 8 drop and an 8 fill. 8 falling, 10 pin. Great fill, 34 and 3. Pins are still mixing. That's going to require a score correction due to the late falling pin. The sensor on the automatic score system kind of waits on a timer, and then it takes a snapshot of what it sees. And in candle pin, pins can fall really late, especially in this room. So this room is going to be prone to a lot of score corrections, no matter which way you slice it. 1 of the 7 for Greg Vellante. He's off to the right. And Greg will take an 8 for 42 and 4. And here's Greg. Tails off to the right, 6 and the 9 fall. 2 drop. He's averaging 5.8. First ball average, 45 boxes in. Vellante will snip out a few more. It's the 4 horsemen left side and the 10 now. 1, 2, 4, 7, and 10 for Mr. Greg Vellante. We'll take 2 and leave 3. 1, 7, 10. High-low jack for a 7 box. That's 49 after 5 for Greg Vellante. That's a 4.5 game total of 420 for Greg Vellante. 18 for 45 in the head pin with 10 splits. He's 40% in the head pin this evening with, again, 10 splits. Totaling 40 in mark fills, averaging 6.7 per mark. And welcome back. Here's Anthony Leonardi on the head pin. Drops 7, maybe 8. It will be 8. Still a split. 5-10. Piece of wood that could sweep over. We'll see if that's of any use. Leonardi plays that wood. Oh, and what a beauty. What a great spare by Anthony Leonardi. Let's take a look at that again because you got a piece of spinny wood and a sidewall bounce. Watch that, capped it, went to the left, and then came back to the right. Great shot by Anthony Leonardi. Saw that smile at the end as he was resetting. You liked that shot. A couple people behind me even remarked that was a great shot. Anthony Leonardi right on the head pin, too much on the head pin. 3 fill, talon, spread eagle. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10 are left down there. And wow, he'll poke the 7, and I heard his shoe make a big squeak. So he's looking to get pins now. Oh, and yikes, that's going to be a 4 box. Anthony Leonardi with a low fill and a 4 box. That's a little painful. Still up by 1 in the second box, 17-16. Leonardi, Vellante respectively, but that was a lead where he could have really kind of popped off, but didn't quite do it. Leonardi. Oh, and off to the left again. Now 1 drop on the 10 pin. Both bowlers with some of these misfires. It seems to be evening out for both of them. They seem to have an equal amount of them, but it's rough to watch sometimes. Leonardi. To the left of the head pin. 1, 5, 3, 8, 9. 3 pins wobbling. And Leonardi will kick a piece of wood and leave the head pin for a 9 box. 23 and 3 for Mr. Anthony Leonardi. Greg Vellante is 49 and 5. Both bowlers with 1 mark. Vellante with a better fill than Leonardi right now. 2 boxes to go for Anthony Leonardi to see if he can advance on that lead. 6 drop, 4 horsemen left side. Missed the head pin again. It's the 4 horsemen. This is the 1, 2, 4, 7 version. And he'll miss the pocket of the 4 horsemen. There's just a lot of yelling going on in this room right now. In all directions. There's a 10 box for Anthony Leonardi, 36 and 4. Greg Vellante, 42 and 4. One box to go before Anthony Leonardi sits. This is the final first half of this match. And this season, for these 2 bowlers at least, that is a 7 drop and a split for Anthony Leonardi. 2, 7, 10. And Leonardi, he misses the object. Connects with the wood between the 2 and the 7. Takes only the 7. The 2 and the 10 are left. Anthony Leonardi recently faced Nick Charest in round 17. That's a 9 box, 45 half for Anthony Leonardi. And that's 45 after 5 for Anthony Leonardi, 49 after 5 for Greg Vellante, 432, 4.5 game total for Anthony Leonardi, 45 boxes in, 420, 45 boxes in for Greg Vellante. Anthony Leonardi currently has a total by 12, only 12, while Greg Vellante holds on to the 5th game by 4. It's a close match, low numbers in the differentials all around. So we'll see who takes the 6-point sway, or a maximum of 6 points on the sway here on the ACST in the closing boxes here. Final 5 boxes for Greg Vellante in particular here on the ACST. Again, I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's great to have you. Greg Vellante now. Here's Greg. And that's a 1 drop on the 7-pin. Mr. Vellante next. Well, it doesn't overcorrect, undercorrects a little bit. He leaves a Caleri.
Both of you. Yeah. Yeah, something's really bad down there, yeah.
Oh, and he'll take a Caleri out for a 10 box. 59 and 6. I was just talking slightly off mic with Anthony Leonardi about the stick down there on the approaches, and I am not imagining that that is a real thing between the bowlers right now.
Yeah, it's wild, right? Sounds like you could use some powder.
That's a headpin shot and a 6 drop for Mr. Greg Vellante. What is that? That's a 5, 7, 10, 9. Oh no, missed the object. So yeah, both bowlers are dealing with an issue with the approach down there being a little bit sticky. I don't know if it's the humidity. It is a very humid day here, for future reference to anyone watching this match in the far future. Really warm and really sticky and really humid and prone to thunderstorms this evening. And the windows are open in this room. And there's a lot of people in this room, and you can kind of imagine it's kind of a recipe for potential some stick on the wood. So, you know, that could just happen. It could also be entirely something different, but that's just my assessment. There's a pocket shot for Vellante, and yikes, 6 drop, 4, 5, 7, 10. Another one of these pocket shots where things are just going strangely for both bowlers. Greg Vellante is past 2 balls, 6 drops on the headpin and splits. Wild. 4, 5, 7, 10 for Vellante. Not much hope for a spare on this one, to be honest, no matter which way you look at it. And he'll go off to the left into the channel. And Vellante will... Ooh, wow, what a nice shot for a 10 box. And that actually went. And I was not expecting that to go. Let's actually watch that on the replay. How did that even go? Let's see this. He kicked the 4, kicked the wood, and that somehow split to take everything else. That's spread all out. I really like that shot. That was cool. It was a 10 box, but who cares? That was a cool shot to watch. Could have been a spare, actually, if it was a second ball, so technically a PGS. Greg Vellante, pocket shot. Explosion of pins there. Slightly better-ish split than the last one, I guess. That's the 4-7-10. We watched Chase Abramchek actually make this shot at Lakeside very recently. Check that match out on 3-ball spare. 4-7-10. That can move. Will it move? Oh, and he can't quite get the wood to spread to the right on the 10. Here comes Greg Vellante with a 10 box, 85 in 9. And also, if you want to check out 3-ball spare on YouTube and subscribe to that, I would totally appreciate it if you did. 3-ball spare is my channel for candlepin bowling content. Everything you see on there is mine and occasionally Brian Hebert's on the mic, on the call, and the technology and all that. So check all that out on 3-ball spare. That's a lemon drop on the 6-pin. Another one. Another $1 to Candlepins for Cancer. Candlepins number 4 cancer.com. Greg Vellante, almost on the head pin, but a little bit to the right. One, 2, 4, 7, 9, 10 for Greg Vellante, and he'll take 3 and leave 3, and that's a 7 box, and that will be the match for Greg Vellante with a 92 in the 5th game and a 5-game total of 463. He went 5 for 10 on the head pin with 4 splits this game. He went 21 for 50 on the head pin with 13 splits. That's 42% on the head pin. 13 splits is also quite a bit for Greg. And he totaled in 40 pins and 6.7 per mark for the marks department. And here's Anthony Leonardi. I heard that squeak again. Again, that sticky spot is going to be a tough one. 1-8-10 for Anthony Leonardi. And he's a little full on the head pin somehow. But he does kick over to the 10, but leaves the 8. It's weird. It's like full, but not full enough. Not quite sure how to describe that shot. Left the 8. For a 9 or 10 box for Leonardi in the 6th frame. He'll take a 10. That's 55 and 6. Final 4 boxes of this match, and the final 4 boxes of the season for Anthony Leonardi. Greg Vellante finishing with a 463. Anthony Leonardi needs 37 pins to take the 5th game and needs 21 pins to take the total. 6 points are within Anthony Leonardi's reach, especially if he can just get a mark and get something started here in 4 boxes. Anthony Leonardi, and that's a way to do it. That's a strike for Anthony Leonardi. Nice. Just what he needed. Watch the strike by Anthony Leonardi. Just when he needed it most. And I think he made a slight adjustment. It almost looked like he started off to the left a little bit more to try to avoid the sticky spot, and it paid dividends. 65 and a bonus and 7 for Anthony Leonardi. On the strike, on the pocket. Split of 6 so far on the fill. 7-8-10-3. Excuse me, 7-9-10-3. To fill that strike, it'll be a 7. Leaves the 3, 7-10. Missed his target. Oh, and that'll be another 7 for Anthony Leonardi. 7 fill, 7 box, 79 and 8. Needs to get to 92 to tie. Anything higher than 92 to win. Anthony Leonardi has reclaimed the total, though, by 3, so that will be 4 more points in Anthony Leonardi's favor. Currently at 10 potential points to Greg Vellante's potential 4. But we'll assess the confirmed totals at the end of the match in about 2 boxes here. Leonardi currently 21 for 48 on the head pin. That's another head pin shot, a 7 drop, and a split. 5, 6, 10. And Greg Vellante, to finish my thought on him, he had 5.7 on average for the first ball all around. Oh, and Leonardi will try to get a kick, but can't quite do it. He leaves the 6. And that's a 10 for Anthony Leonardi, 89 and 9. It's really starting to look like Anthony Leonardi will be taking 10 points this evening. Actually, maybe more than 10. Again, I'll wait till the end to tell you. And that's a 9 drop, almost another strike for Anthony Leonardi. Oh my goodness, the 10 pin even wiggles. It was hit. You were hit, as the pros would say. And even myself said in Worlds this past November at Leda Lanes. And Leonardi is putting an exclamation point on his game. That's 99, a bonus, and 10. So Anthony Leonardi, correction, will take 12 points. He has the total. He has the game. That was a big sway of 6 in Anthony Leonardi's favor. He took 12 points. So Greg Vellante, the number 1 seed, but Anthony Leonardi, he's really taking him to task, and the seedings are going to adjust a little bit now with all of this. And that's a 3 fill to finish off that thought on the spare for Anthony Leonardi with a 102 game 5 and a 5 game total of 489 for Anthony Leonardi. That will be 12 points for Anthony Leonardi. Anthony Leonardi, 23.50 on the head pin, 17 splits, 5.1 on the first ball the whole match. And 59 in field totals, averaging 4.9 per mark, 46% on the head pin, 3 strikes, 9 spares. Let's look at the final stats, shall we? Here we are, our final stats. 12 points for Anthony Leonardi this evening. Greg Vellante, 2 points. Final score for the final time, 489 for Anthony Leonardi, 463 for Greg Vellante. And the averages, Anthony Leonardi, 98, Greg Vellante, 93. That means Anthony Leonardi will move to 138 and 114. Greg Vellante will move to 131 and 121, but both are still in the playoffs. This is only really to affect the seeding, so we'll be standing by for updates on that. Check out the ACST Facebook page for Micah Imperado's stat drops for all the latest data on all that, because he is way smarter than me when it comes to figuring all that stuff out. Anyways, that should be just about it from us at Academy Lanes. I'd like to thank our ACST League Commissioner Danny Finn, our Class D Treasurer Nate Lees, our statistician Micah Imperado, the staff at Academy Lanes, Steve Abodeely for some of the B-roll and photography you've seen this evening. Check them out at stabadeely.com. Always appreciate viewers like you for watching. That will be it for us today at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I want to thank you for watching. I hope this was a pleasant experience for you. If you enjoyed what you saw and want to see more, I want to invite you to strike, comment, subscribe to the multiverse of Candlepin Bowling, such as the Atlantic Candlepin Single Store page on Facebook and YouTube, the Candlepin Chat Group on Facebook, Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, Candlepin Corner on YouTube, at Candlepin Bowling on TikTok, Outrun the Bear on Facebook and Instagram, Alley Chat on YouTube, Bowling with the Gothiers on YouTube, Wolfman12395 on YouTube, the Candlepin Bowling channel on YouTube, the Ripping the Rack podcast on YouTube, the Approach podcast, as well as Tony Levesque on YouTube and Charlie Collins on TikTok. And, of course, my channel, 3 Ball Spare, on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Search for 3 Ball Spare. You should find me there. Plenty of YouTube shorts, especially on the YouTube channel, so do check that out. We talked about candlepinsforcancer.com, so do check that out. Just sign up for qualifying roles to donate. And if you think Candlepin's fun, check out candlepin.org. Click Go Bowling to find your nearest center. And if you live in New England, there's no excuse not to. Go check it out. Anyways, that should be just about it for us here at Academy Lanes. For Greg Vellante and Anthony Leonardi, I've been Steve Kelly. It's been great talking to you this evening. We'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Have a great one, everybody. Good night.